So, given what's going on in Republican politics, what might I possibly say today that might be a little bit funny? I guess we could start with the US Senate race, where Jane Norton has questioned Ken Buck's manhood in a political attack ad. In response, when he was at the Independence Institute's ATF party, Ken Buck replied by saying, "You ought to vote for me because I don't wear high heels." Of course, he was just making a dumb joke in response to Jane Norton bringing up the gender issue, but of course people have taken this out of context and used it to call him a sexist. And then Ken Buck proceeded to say that he wears cowboy boots, not high heels, and that his cowboy boots have real Weld County BS on them. Leading Norton to say, well, with all that BS on your boots, you should fit right in Washington, D.C. Then we have, over of course on the governor's race, we have Tom Tancredo, former congressman, threatening to run as a third party candidate for governor if the two Republicans in the race don't get out. That would be Scott McInnis and Dan Mays. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of opinions around the room as to whether that's a good idea for Tancredo to be running. But I think you do have to grant the man this. He has one gigantic set of cowboy boots. Now, the reason that people want McInnis, some people want Scott McInnis to go the race, of course, is because a few years ago he worked for a $300,000 fee over a 2-year span to produce some water articles. Well, he subcontracted some of this work out to a researcher. And while the details are a little bit fuzzy, the work he turned in turns out to have been plagiarized in part. Well, it turns out by a guy who happens to now sit on the Colorado Supreme Court. So, embarrassment for Scott McInnis. Fortunately, another man caught in a plagiarism scandal in Colorado is Churchill, and he has agreed to come forward and to help Scott McInnis out in this trying time. So he wants to do a couple of things, Churchill. First of all, he wants to fundraise to help Scott McInnis pay back the $300,000, which he's promised to pay. And he also wants to help raise funds for a new organization, brand new. It's called Plagiarists Anonymous. So they're the founding members, Churchill and McInnis. And they've come up with something revolutionary, I think, in the field of self-help called the 12-step program. It's so revolutionary, they've applied for trademark protection and maybe even copyright protection in that language. But to get the fundraising going for this, Churchill has agreed to create a brand new original artwork, Native American artwork, that he's going to auction off for the purpose of raising funds for these purposes. Now, of course, I don't have the original with me today, right? Because it's far too valuable. It's under lock and key for protection.
That's war.
But nevertheless, I was able to obtain a print to show you in advance this new original work of art by Churchill, which he'll be auctioning off to raise funds for Scott McInnis. So here it is. Mona Hontus. Completely. I didn't know if you knew that Churchill is also an artist with other famous entirely original artwork. So this is his new famous Mona Hontus work, which he'll be soon to raise money for Plagiarists Anonymous. So thank you.